Hello, everyone. My name is Gavin, as well as two of the group mates I worked with are Tommy and Isaiah. We chose your store, Walgreens, to revamp into the metaversal world through AR and VR, as well as still having a physical space that you'll see in a minute. I'm going to start with the basic components of the Walgreens stores. So that is of the retail as well as the pharmacy. And these two distinct components do require two distinct approaches for the redesign. But first, I'm going to go over the components of the retail space, which operates as a traditional retail space does by finding a product on the shelf and then pay prior to exiting the store, as well as the selection of products on display. So you can stroll up and down the aisles and choose from the shelves. A large public interface with a small back of house, which is also designed to make sense to those that are unfamiliar with the store. Then we have the pharmacy portion, which is increased safety and security concerns compared to the retail space. It requires qualified personnel, optimized to be used by such. Large back of house with a small public interface. Patrons directly handed their product, so there's no shopping, searching done by the personnel, so any of the pharmacists or the technicians, not the people. And it is a physically distinct zone of operation located in the rear corner of the building. The design and operation considerations when we were first starting to look at this space is the pharmacy solely medication distribution site, presence of an additional retail component, maybe a remote telehealth clinic within that as well. And then we were thinking something along the lines of a fully autonomous physical store. Something, we'd worry about that is the safety and security concerns. And is there any monitoring, maybe a security system, remote or in person? What does the pickup experience look like? Is it an Amazon style pickup locker? Is it a bank drive-through with pneumatic tube type of situation? Does the pharmacy remain nested within the retail space? Do they become separate entities altogether? As well as how to integrate the pharmacy component into the metaverse. We were thinking maybe a telehealth clinic, maybe some in-person booths at the actual store as well. So the existing over-the-counter retail stock checkout, like we already discussed, the pharmacy of the stock, the in-store pickup, and the drive-through, as well as what we're proposing for that would be the over-the-counter retail, which has stock with all of the existing retail components that the store has now, as well as an automated checkout, something that maybe you grab your items, it can check what items you have, and it can charge you on your way out the door, as well as a pharmacy pickup. So drive-through locations, many of those, some walk-up lockers like I discussed before, as well as a fully autonomous solution, as well as the telehealth booths that would also be in the store for access to pharmacists through AR or VR. Then looking at the 5 levels of how we would completely automate the pharmacy component. So starting with autonomous pharmacy, so kind of where we're at now, getting all the way to the fully autonomous pharmacy, which is the complete process automation, tracking each dose and node on the network, complete data visibility, so you can look at anything online, real-time workflow optimization and predictive intelligence, as well as pharmacists realize the full scope of their role and direct patient care and clinical program optimization. So this allows pharmacists to free up a little bit of their time. And ideally, as you can see in the bottom right corner, this would lead to 0 medication errors, as well as 100% data visibility, and just to speed up the process altogether and relieve the physical personnel with a more autonomous solution. So to start off, some ideations we have in plan view here. So you can see the general existing configuration is you have the entry over here with a checkout space. You have a back of house area as well as the pharmacy, and then a very large over-the-counter retail space in the center. The composed configuration would be to shrink that to about a third of the size. So that would also shrink the retail space, even though the retail space would still take up a majority of the store. And then we'd have a large back of house area for the autonomous pharmacy operations, a walk-up prescription locker situation, some telehealth booths in that store. So those would be kind of like individual stalls, basically, where you could speak with someone online, and then some drive-through, basically pneumatic tube situations like the bank would have, where you would have maybe the prescriptions come down in a case that is in a pneumatic tube that then is delivered to the hub right outside for you to drive through and pick up.